My name is Chidinma. I'm a visual artist based in Lagos, Nigeria. My art explores the architecture of spaces and people and the systems that plays a role in it. I was part of the first phase of the Flanus project in March 2020, and it was a coming together of various female creatives where we discussed issues that affect us as we work and live in a gendered space like Lagos, the ideologies that govern the spaces, and we discussed the male gaze and the power of observations and how we can provide possible solutions to the problems that we face like harassment, intimidations, and aggressions in public spaces in Lagos. During one of the practical street projects, we went out on the streets and were asked to find our gaze on the street. At a particular position that I decided to explore the notion of movement and reactions with my camera as a tool. The camera is a very powerful weapon and people react to it in different ways. My experience in the first phase of the project was a driving factor for me for my proposal for the second phase of the project, which was themed Female Artist Perspective to Urban Planning in Lagos. I chose the Lagos bus stops as a case study for my own proposal. I'm inspired by the energy present at the Lagos bus stops, and I always wondered how such space can be opened up for possible negotiations and engagement and collaboration. And that was how I came up with the Bus Stop Chronicles. Bus Stop Chronicles is a multimedia project with special interest in photography, video, and sound, and it explores a wide range of issues arising from the environmental, the social, and emotional aspects. We have contrast in infrastructures and spaces. We have the soundscape elements present at Lagos bus stop, and we'll talk about the informalities like the area boys that exist at some of these spaces, causing a lot of aggression and intimidation and harassment. So through this project, I wanted to spark up these conversations and also record my own experiences and how I adapt to the volatile space or situation. My research process encompasses various aspects of this project. I studied the likes of Alimotu Pelewura of the 1920s, how she fought against some colonial policies. She gathered a lot of women. She was a very strong activist and she used her voice at that time. And I also researched on Lagos bus stops generally and narrowed it down to the most notorious ones. And I got a list of them, 10 of them. I decided to take those 10 bus stops as my own challenge. I had various project meetings with project coordinators for this project from the beginning of this project to the end of it. So these project meetings were very important for me to align my thoughts, and the project coordinators in the presence of Monica Umuna, Jumoke Sonwo, and Adeola Olagunju, they were a very helpful guide for me to keep me in track and help my thought process so that I don't lose the plot along the line. From there, I came up with a storyboard. This storyboard was like a guide for me to help me navigate my process in these spaces. I started with collecting sounds from some of these bus stops, and when I was finally ready to start the project, I went out with an assistant, and he was able to help me out in the video aspect of the project and also to help me in some difficult negotiations with the people we met at these spaces while I worked on the photography aspect. This is Ikeja along bus stop, the informal side of the bus stop. Over there, at the other side of the road, we have the formal bus stop, the BRT bus stop, but it's not as busy as this place. And this place is controlled by the area boys who are my friends also. At the BRT bus stops, there wasn't too much to worry about because the security was there. So once I came in with my camera, they didn't quite disturb me much, but they were on the lookout for what I was really doing. But at the other side of the bus stop, which are the informal bus stops, that was where I had some issues. Some of these guys were welcoming, while some were very difficult to engage. And without their permission, you can't do anything in those places. So some of them involves giving out some amount of money. Some you just have to talk to them and enlighten them on what you are there for, and they give you that access. A very interesting experience for me was that of Oshodi bus stop, where the chairman of the garage told his boys to act for me in the video shoot I was to help me achieve what I wanted to achieve. It was interesting for me to speak with some women in these spaces, and they voiced their concerns about the issues of harassment and intimidation, issues of bag snatching, and the kind of problems these area boys pose at the bus stop. They kind of called on the government for possible solutions to help women to have a safe space in Lagos. I also ran some social media polls to hear what people are saying about the issues of public spaces and Lagos infrastructures, and my target audience were majorly the women. The collection of the data online was important for me because I wanted to compare it with the data I also have with being at the spaces physically. My artistic intervention is an interesting process of this project. I wanted to engage with people, and after a lot of deliberations and thinking about what to do, I found out that there is this element of handwritings and adverts and posters all over the bus stops, on the walls, on the buses. I became the subject in that platform and invited people to write on me instead. So instead of writing on the walls, come and write on me instead. And I did not tell them what to write. I just wanted a journey where they are free to write whatever they want to write, or how they felt seeing me in that place with the camera positioned on them. It was easier to get the men to come and participate, but for the women it was kind of difficult getting the women into that space to participate. The post-production aspect of this project was very crucial exercise for me. Thankful for the project meetings and the coordinators that also helped me and gave me a guide. At the end of the day, I was able to come up with the images in a deep pitch format so that I can compare and contrast the two images side by side and tell a story, how one image relates to the other in terms of similarities and contrast. I was advised to go with the two channel video formats, where I can have my documentary on one side of the project, and my artistic intervention on one side of the project. I'm grateful to the Heritage Ball Foundation for this opportunity to carry out this project. I'm grateful for the platform to talk about Lagos bus stops and the complexities that exist within the system and the spaces. And I'm also grateful to the project coordinators for their guide and patience throughout the project. It was a very beautiful experience for me, and I hope to visit Lagos bus stops to also work on other elements that are quite interesting to me in the nearest future.